We at National Taxpayers Association, as you know, are an organization that looks at how our taxes work for us and do they really work for us or not. So that is a key concern for us as an organization. And we have noted that in our country, there's quite a lot of inequality. The reality of one segment of society is quite different from the reality that the next Kenyans have. We have our Kenyan brothers and sisters that cannot afford to put food on the table, cannot afford to put their children in school. And this great disparity in our country is a key concern. It's a key concern to us as an organization for very many reasons. Firstly, is like the state of human development of a nation is the key. And for us as Kenya and as a taxpayer, I at times feel that the government has focused too much on infrastructure, which is good, but we equally must focus on the state of our people. What is the state of healthcare? What is the state of education? What is the state and well-being of our sisters and brothers? We cannot afford to continue having the disparities we have in social economic development. And so the government put in place the National Government Affirmative Action Fund. And the objects of this fund are really noble, and I think they are objects that we must applaud. But the challenge goes to how is this being implemented? So we were interested as an organization when we noticed that the Auditor General's report of this fund in year ending 2017 gave a very, very sad report, which was a disclaimer. And for all taxpayers and for the groups that this fund targets, and the fund actually targets youth, women, orphans, and people with disabilities. Remember that these are the sections of society that have been greatly disadvantaged, and that the Constitution and the Kenyan nation, we as a people, agreed that we must have affirmative action to bring them up to the level that we all are. In a sense, development that does not leave everyone behind. But unfortunately, in the utilization of this fund, there's been a lot of corruption, there's been a lot of misappropriation of fund, and this has gone silent, particularly by the leaders who should be championing the constituents that are targeted by this fund. Have we really had our women reps talking about the fund now that it has a disclaimer and it should be supporting their groups? Have we had the young youth in parliament, in Senate, at county assemblies discussing that the Affirmative Action Fund has a disclaimer, while we know that the fund seeks to address the plight of the people that they represent? Have we had our leaders talk about the orphans? Because the fund targets the orphans, but it is being misappropriated. So we as the National Taxpayers Association thought it important that we must have this conversation with the leaders that should bring the change, and not just the leaders, because as an organization we have noted that we cannot afford to delegate oversight to leaders only. It is my role and your role. And so we went out to the field to kind of just establish these groups that are being targeted by this fund. Do they know that this fund exists? Do they know that there is an audit report on this fund? Have they raised their voice in how this fund is being utilized? And we'll welcome you to see some of the videos that I think you look at on our YouTube page. You'll find a lot of the sentiments of citizens around this fund. And it's funny that it's actually not funny. It's sad that most of the citizens don't know about this fund, and definitely then cannot hold leaders who manage this fund to account. And that is a great problem. And my call in conclusion would be, let our leaders, if you are in the house or you have been elected to represent a specific constituency or a specific group of people, it is wrong that you continue to politic. It is wrong that you continue to preoccupy yourself with issues that don't touch on the mandate that Kenyans put you in place to do. But rather, you take other issues as center stage and forget why we put you there as the leader. But more important, I think we have spoken to the leadership for far too long, and we have not seen as much results as the talk we've had with them. But we have not talked enough to the people who fund the system. We have not talked enough to the women groups. This is your fund. You must make it a priority to monitor it. Youth, this is your fund, and this fund will continue being misappropriated if you do not monitor it. Let us not delegate this to our leaders. It is your role and my role, and the Constitution has provided freedom of information and access to information. And so please look at the Auditor General's website and look at these documents. Make it your business to discuss these documents. To the people living with disabilities, we have organizations that represent people with disabilities. But have you looked at this? Because we cannot continue to wait on government to give us tokens while there's a fund that me and you have funded to further make the life of people with disabilities more comfortable. But this fund is being misappropriated. Let us take it upon ourselves as people that are targeted by this fund. Let us monitor this fund. The 2018 report of the NGAAF was also equally raising weighty issues of accountability. And so I continue to welcome citizens to interrogate Auditor General's report, to interrogate any report that tries to follow how their money is being used. And I'm sure this approach is what will make a difference in yours and my life. But a general call to our government is let the money, let the tax work for all of us. Let us not continue having a country that is not equal, a country that the reality is quite different. One person cannot afford to put food on the table. One person cannot afford to take their children to school, while another person is being given a huge house allowance, is being given huge salary. Let us know that we are all children of this nation and that history will judge us harshly if we do not take a step. We as NTA have taken a step to bring this to your attention, and we hope that you as the funders of the system will move this agenda to where it rightfully must sit, that is holding these leaders to account. Thank you and welcome, and let us continue having this conversation in all our social media pages. Asante.